What's going on, everybody? So Dana White just made some huge announcements for the UFC, including finally revealing Tom Aspinall's next fight. But there's more announcements that he made, so I'm going to be going through all the announcements and giving my honest reaction on the matchups. But real quick, before I get into the video, 95% of you guys aren't subscribed, so if you like UFC, pro boxing, or influencer boxing content, I post 2 to 4 times a week on this channel at least, so make sure you guys subscribe. I appreciate you. And by the way, the Misfits boxing press conference for Misfits 22 is today. So I might make a video on that tomorrow, but the way I record things will be a little complicated, but I'll try. So the first matchup that I want to talk about is Prochazka versus Rountree. Now, this is a banger matchup. This is probably one of the best matchups you can make on the feet in the UFC in general. They are both sick on the feet, and this is a very important fight for light heavyweights. So overall, my thoughts on this, I like the fight. Yuri and Khalil seem to both want that rematch versus Alex Pereira, even though a trilogy with Alex Pereira with Yuri doesn't really make sense. I'm not a big fan of trilogies where the person already lost twice, but I think this would obviously be if Alex Pereira wins the championship. Trust me, we'll talk about that matchup in a second. But this is one of these fights, man. I'm going to have to do a lot of research to determine who I think is going to win this fight. I think I'll give the edge to Yuri as things stand right now. But it could go either way because Rountree is very erratic with how he fights. But you can say the same thing with Yuri Prochazka. That's why I think this fight is incredible. It's going to be a great striking matchup. I don't see any of them going to the ground whatsoever. I see them scrapping it out. And they're both there to prove something because they're both coming off wins. They both beaten Jamal Hill recently. More recently, Rountree just fought Jamal Hill, and actually Yuri hasn't fought since Jamal Hill either. That fight was a little bit more recent than I thought. That was in January, but you know what? Yuri has a lot of time to improve. Rountree's been a little bit more active, but not much. I think this is a sick matchup. I think this is the best matchup they could have made at light heavyweight. I know Carlos Ulberg is reaching near contender status. He might even have dibs on the next title shot regardless because, in my opinion, both Yuri Prochazka and Rountree need a couple more to deserve a title shot. Rountree already didn't deserve a title shot, in my opinion, when he got it against Alex Pereira, but it seems like circumstances made that fight. But I really like this matchup, man. Like I said, I'm leaning towards Yuri in this, but this could go either way. This could end up being a 50-50 fight. It could end up being a domination on either side, just because how frequently they seem to love to throw hands and just psycho. Rountree's a cult, not a leader, but he's in a cult, so he has that erratic energy in him. And Yuri Prochazka has like his tribal workout routines where he's like screaming in the forest. So they're going to match each other's energy on a whole lot of different levels. So I really like this fight. Let me know if you guys agree. It seems like 320 is going to be stacked. We're going to go through the rest of the fights that are on this card, but I'm very excited about this. Let me know if you guys agree. I think Yuri's ability to work on the outside is really going to make the difference in this fight, but he leaves himself open, though. He really does, even though he does move his head better. We've seen it in the Jamal Hill fight. He's still going to be there for Rountree that loves blitzing, so it really could go either way. I don't think this fight goes to decision by any means. Somebody's going out. And I can't 100% say who, but I'm definitely leaning towards Yuri as things stand right now. But maybe as I study the fight, when the prediction video comes out, that changes. Who really knows? But yeah, Khalil's lack of head movement versus Yuri's movement, his ability at range, and his new added head movement. I'm leaning towards Yuri, but let me know if you guys have an argument for Khalil down below. Next, let's talk about Merab versus Corey Sandhagen. Now, this was obviously going to always be the fight. They faced off after Merab beat Sean O'Malley again. Corey Sandhagen coming off a dominant win over Deiveson Figueiredo, which is a great person to dominate and have a great performance over. That shows that Corey Sandhagen is one of the best in the division for sure. And I want to say Corey Sandhagen has the tools to have the best fight versus Merab. But he lost unanimous decision to Umar, and Umar got absolutely dominated by Merab. So I can't lie, I don't feel too great about this matchup for Corey Sandhagen. Now, Corey Sandhagen has some unreal length at the division. He has a very similar build to Sean O'Malley. He's very rangy, very quick for his range. He is on the feet. It can be very interesting. Merab is also very good on the feet too. He has a great footwork, great for staying in and out, which is great for him to keep on the same level as these strikers when it comes to strike matchup. His lack of ability on the feet gets really offset by his footwork and his blitzing. He basically outstruck Sean O'Malley in their second fight because he went in with blitzes and landed great combinations. And his motor is just his main thing. His motor makes him unstoppable in my opinion. But this wrestling, he was able to show that he could get a submission win against Sean O'Malley. I think Corey Sandhagen is better on the ground. I think he'll struggle to submit Corey Sandhagen. This is definitely a decision type of fight in my opinion. But man, if he's dominating Umar, I don't know, man. On paper, if Umar can't deal with a Merab on the ground, Corey shouldn't either. But I hope it's a good fight. That's what I really hope for. I used to not like Merab, but he's really redeemed himself in the last couple fights, making his fights very entertaining. And it's just, you can't not admire his gas tank. It's actually unhuman. Like, seriously unhuman. Yeah, I think Merab is I think he could destroy Corey Sandhagen. I'm not going to lie. I think that Corey has some things that matches him up with Merab well. But as of right now, I don't think anybody beats Merab in that division. Maybe Umar in a couple of years when he's more developed. I don't know. Because he's on paper the most balanced bantamweight besides Merab. Even though Merab's more of a specialist with his grappling. Like I said, his footwork makes him pretty good on the feet too. Even though he's not like the best on the feet. He has some great kicks, but he's not like a Sean O'Malley or Corey Sandhagen with like the diversity and real threat on the feet. His threat comes from draining you on the ground, and it's just relentless pressure. Really makes you struggle thinking about what you want to do in the fight because he gives you zero time. Now, again, Corey Sandhagen against Figueiredo, he looked dominant. He was a great performance. All around, he showed he's great on the ground. He's great on the feet. He has the long-ass legs where he might be able to lock a body triangle on Merab and at least keep him on the ground. I don't know. I don't know if you want to stay on the ground with Merab because he will keep you there. Even though he's redeemed himself, he's shown that he will stall in the past. So, yeah, this matchup needed to happen. It was going to happen, but I think Merab destroys Corey Sandhagen. I don't think anybody's beating Merab anytime soon unless, I don't know, Sean O'Malley gets a miracle knockout or Corey was able to land like a front kick or something on Merab. I guess that could be there for him. But I don't know, man. Let me know if you guys agree, but I think Merab is going to destroy Corey Sandhagen. This is a great fight to have on 320 also. Again, this is a stacked card. But I don't think anything's going to change. I think Merab is unstoppable right now, and he's going to run right through Corey Sandhagen. Let me know if you guys agree. All right, now let's talk about the main event of UFC 320. Ankalaev versus Pereira 2 already happening. Now, I know Guru said that he's thinking about Ankalaev already. I don't know. Because Pereira was just extremely flat in that first fight in general. I don't know what was wrong with him. Obviously, if Ankalaev chooses to stall against the cage like he did in the last 2 rounds of the fight, I would agree with you. But in my opinion, there's no way that Alex Pereira shows up like that again. He was extremely flat on the feet, and it just didn't seem very usual. I think if Ankalaev chooses to stand with Pereira again, I think that Pereira can knock him out. I don't think that Ankalaev is anything special on the feet. He's plotty. He moves his way forward, and the pressure is going to make things a little bit more difficult, but I think Pereira is going to do a lot better moving and circling out and working at a distance, setting up that knockout shot instead of being so hesitant and so, I don't know, man. He was so flat. It was so frustrating to watch, especially as somebody that picked Alex Pereira in that fight. Everybody was saying, well, if Ankalaev wrestles, that's one thing. But if it stays on the feet, Alex should win. And he didn't. He got outstruck for the most part. And in the last 2 rounds, he just got pushed up against the cage and wasn't really able to do anything about it. So I hope things have changed in the meantime. I would think so. You would think that Alex Pereira doesn't even need to change that much for stuff on the feet. He's one of the best strikers, kickboxers in the UFC right now. Definitely the most scary and dangerous. But Man, this could just completely derail Alex Pereira if he loses this fight. Ankalaev really isn't an interesting champion at all. I know, oh, he doesn't stall as much as you say. No, he doesn't stall as much as you say he did in the last 2 rounds. Even if he didn't stall, he's not that interesting of a champion whatsoever. And Alex Pereira is one of the biggest superstars in the UFC, so I guarantee you the UFC wants Alex to win this fight, but I am a bit nervous, but I think Alex will lock in for this fight. If Ankalaev wrestles off rip, that's one thing. I think Alex will get exposed. I think anybody that's good at wrestling will expose Alex on the ground because he's just a K1 kickboxing champion. Of course, he practices wrestling with Glover Teixeira, but he's way behind everybody in the division and anybody UFC in general just because he didn't work on it for the longest time. You know how they roll in Russia, Dagestan. They're wrestling ever since they come out of the womb. So, yeah, so if this is on the feet, I see Alex Pereira finishing Ankalaev. It'll be great to get him right back on top because I guarantee the UFC wants him as a superstar right now because they're kind of struggling building superstars. So they're really leaning on the Marabs, the Sean O'Malley's, the Pereiras. They want those guys to win. So, yeah, Ilya Topuria obviously too. But yeah, man, I hope Alex wins this fight. A part of me is nervous. I'm not with Guru saying I'm picking Ankalaev. I'm definitely picking Pereira because it seems like Ankalaev likes to throw hands. And, man, if Alex could almost point fight him for the long time and just be patient and actually maybe that's what he did in the first fight that got him in trouble because Ankalaev was able to catch him with some good shots. But, man, just... we need Alex to win. The UFC needs violence right now, and Alex Pereira is the perfect person for that. So, yeah, I'm going with Alex Pereira here if it stays on the feet. Let me know if you guys agree. There definitely is a weakness to leg kicks from Ankalaev. We've seen it before. He's gotten his leg torn up in multiple fights, and Alex has the best leg kick in UFC, and he just seemed hesitant to throw it. Maybe he was scared of a takedown throughout the entire fight. Maybe that explains why he was so flat on the feet. He was just so scared of the takedown the entire fight, even though Ankalaev wasn't going for it till later in the fight. He really just did it to secure the last 2 rounds. So, yeah, Alex should win on paper, definitely. Now, the one that we've all been waiting for way, 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 way too long. Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane. Finally, the undisputed heavyweight championship is on the line. Who would have ever thought that we would ever see a heavyweight championship fight ever again that isn't an interim belt? Who would have known? Jesus Christ. Now, obviously we know Volkov deserves this fight. It sucks, but there is some hype here because of the England versus France thing. That will be a big deal. Now this, before I even talk about the matchup, this kind of makes me angry. Now, I have no problem with the UFC building their Abu Dhabi fan base. Why in the world is Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane not in England or France? Seriously. There is a real storyline there with those two. There's always a big deal when there's this country versus country, nation versus nation type thing. And they're doing it in Abu Dhabi. Now, as an American, it makes me very happy that the card will be at like 3, 4 p.m. I'm very happy about that. But what... God, they're just forcing these Abu Dhabi cards. They really are. They're just force-feeding them. They should still happen, don't get me wrong, but when you have a fight like Alex Pereira versus Ciryl Gane, why would this not be in the O2? Why would this not be in France? They had Ciryl Gane versus Derek Lewis in France, but they won't do Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane in France or the England for the heavyweight championship. I feel like it's such a waste. Dana's just pandering to the Middle East, and I really don't have a problem with it. It's just, it's a time and a place type of thing, and this is not the place in my opinion. Now, in my opinion for the matchup of this, Tom Aspinall needs to show his grappling in this fight because people are sleeping with his grappling. Tom Aspinall started with his grappling at like 8 years old. And people talk about his knockout ability because he just takes everybody out within 2 minutes. And if I'm being honest, I don't think this fight will be any different. Yes, on the feet it will be very interesting and it'll be a great matchup. But in my opinion, I think Tom's going to double leg Ciryl Gane and get him out of there in 1 round. I think that's what should happen. I think that Tom Aspinall could easily knock him out on the feet too. Actually, easy is not the right word, because Ciryl Gane is extremely technical and extremely light on his feet. For a heavyweight, what's specified for a heavyweight, I think Tom is lighter on his feet. He is in out blitz style. I see him being able to knock out Ciryl Gane, but I don't think that's how he's going to fight this fight. I think Ciryl Gane has a real weakness on the feet. I mean, on the ground. We've seen it with the Jon Jones fight. Obviously, Jon Jones is elite on the ground also. But I think this is a great opportunity for Tom Aspinall to show that he is just as elite on the ground as Jon Jones is. Because let's be real with it, Jon Jones fans, if you're watching this video, I know you probably don't watch this channel because I hate on Jones quite a bit and they gave great views, so I'm going to continue to do it whenever he fucks up. But the one thing that they have on the feet, they could be delusional. I'm sorry, I'm butchering every fucking sentence in this video, it seems like. But it seems like the Jones argument is, on the ground, we'll see. Maybe there's some delusional Jon Jones fans saying that Jon Jones can strike with Tom Aspinall. We both know that Jon Jones would get slept by Tom Aspinall if it was on the feet. But on the ground is when it would be interesting, in my opinion. But Ciryl Gane isn't Jon Jones. We've seen it. Jon Jones made an absolute fool out of Ciryl Gane. Even Demetrius Johnson said there are opportunities for Ciryl Gane to get out of the guillotine attempt. It wasn't the greatest submission attempt. There was ways out of it. He seemed to have just not believed himself that he could have got away from Jones, and he tapped very early in the fight, even when it seemed like it was on the chin and not even on the neck. But obviously, I'm not one of these people to say that fight was rigged. That's a ridiculous argument. Ciryl Gane just has a real weakness on the ground, and Tom Aspinall will definitely exploit it. I see Tom Aspinall double-legging and dumping Ciryl Gane on his head and submitting him in 1 or 2 rounds. I really do. And Ciryl Gane definitely... Actually, no, he doesn't deserve it. Volkov deserves it. Even though we've seen Aspinall versus Volkov before, Volkov got robbed. He really did. So yes, this is more of an interesting fight because it's new, but Volkov would have had a better chance of beating Aspinall than Ciryl Gane, in my opinion. Just because how drastic it's going to be on the ground, in my opinion. I think Tom Aspinall has some great wrestling that hasn't been shown yet, because how easily he's been sparking out everybody at heavyweight. But this is an amazing fight. Tom Aspinall will show how dominant he is. If he loses, good lord, oh my god, me and Guru are deleting our channels forever. I won't, obviously, because I gotta build it to at least getting monetized and making some good money at some point. But fuck. If Tom Aspinall loses to Ciryl Gane after everything that's happened with Jon Jones, first of all, we're gonna have to hear it from Jon Jones, which is the worst part. Tom Aspinall losing is one thing. When I love Tom, he's very humble and very exciting to watch. We're going to have to see Jon Jones rant on Twitter about it. So we definitely can't have it happen. I think on the feet, I think that Gane will be able to outpoint Tom. But I think if it stays on the feet, Aspinall would just be more likely to land the KO blow. Yeah, on the feet, it will be about equal. On the ground, it will be nowhere close. I think that we'll have... Maybe we'll see Tom Aspinall rock Gane and then submit him. I really hope that Tom submits Ciryl Gane, because it will really prove a point. If he's able to submit Ciryl Gane faster or in the first round like Jon Jones, it would prove a point. And Jon Jones won't be able to say shit. Even if Aspinall submits him in round 2 or 3, I think Jones will still have something to say. Like, oh wow, I was able to submit him faster. This Tom guy really isn't shit. I just see it. Jones is such a petty, attention-seeking whore. Jesus. He just is, though. We know he's going to comment on the fight if it doesn't happen with, a round 1 submission. So, yeah, man, I think that Tom Aspinall will easily tap Ciryl Gane. I'm very excited that Tom Aspinall finally has a fight announcement. Yep. But, yeah, man, just everybody pass through. I'm not recording a video or anything. Yep, go ahead. Yep, go ahead. Yep. Take your time. I'm not recording a video or anything. Nope. But, yeah, I have Tom Aspinall by submission in round 1. I know some people will think it's biased, but let me know if you guys agree in the comments down below. For the people that haven't been in tune with Tom Aspinall, he's been training consistently 2 times a day ever since his last fight, which has been over a year at this point. And since he's been preparing for Jon Jones, he's probably been on the mat a lot with his grappling. So I feel really good about my prediction for a round 1 sub for Tom Aspinall. It would be a great showcase for his abilities. He's going to be faster. He's more lean, way more in shape than he was in his last fight. He's going to be even more of a monster now. Jon Jones might have made things worse for him if he wants to come back for the UFC White House card. Even though Dana's putting his foot down, not letting it happen. That's all I had for you guys today. I just want to give my reaction and thoughts to these announcements. It seemed like UFC's finally getting shit going. The first 7 months have been kind of mid for the UFC this year, but it seems like the last 5 months is going to be very good with the matchups that are lining up and the announcements that have just been announced. So I'm very excited for it. I think the December event is going to be extremely stacked. That's probably going to be the Islam versus JDM card, I would guess. And there's going to be even more fights that might be on there, like Pantoja versus Van and fights like that. So I think that event will be stacked. But that's all, man. Let me know what your thoughts on these fights are down below. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications, all that if you don't want to miss any more. I'm going to finish this video right now. You guys have no idea how long I've been recording this for. With all the stuff happening in the background, me tripping over my words, I need to get through this video now before I lose my shit. So, yeah, subscribe to hear more stuttering. Yeah, that's what we get here. But, yeah, thank you guys for listening to me yap like usual. God bless every single one of you. And peace out.